What's up, guys? Happy Sunday to you. Welcome to another classic pay-per-view watch-along, and we are now in Backlash season. So tonight we are going to watch Backlash 2002, and this is an interesting pay-per-view because, as We Are Pro Wrestling is pointing out here in the chat, this is the first pay-per-view of the brand split era. They had just done, I think, the draft and all that bullshit just, a week or two before all of this went down. And as a matter of fact, the belt that Triple H was carrying, I think he only carried for like 2 weeks. He won the Undisputed title at WrestleMania, had both of them. Like a week or two later, they presented him with the Undisputed title, but then Backlash was right in front of them and he dropped it to Hogan. So I wasn't even able to find a good like PNG high quality render of Triple H with that championship. I don't think they ever got a chance to do any studio shots with him. So I was like, oh crap, I want to have a nice little overlay here, but I couldn't find anything. So this was a pay-per-view that I remember not liking at the end of it, because at the time I was a pretty big Triple H fan, always have been, but to see him drop it to Hogan like that was put a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I wasn't as big on the Hogan nostalgia run as everyone else was. So it'll be interesting to look back at this show for probably the first time since I've seen it. We're talking 20 years ago this show aired, and it was a crazy time, man. 2002, right off the heels of WrestleMania 18. I don't even know much else on the card for this other than one match I wasn't even aware of, Stone Cold Steve Austin against The Undertaker, which is interesting. It's a number one contenders match. I guess Taker would win this and go on to beat Hogan for the title the next month. So this should be interesting to kind of refresh my memory on some of this stuff. You guys can help me out with that as well. And I think a lot of you were happy that we were doing Backlash 2002. I had a lot of requests for 2004, but I think we'll do that another week. I was going to do it next week, but next week's Easter and I won't be here, so that's out. The week after that, as long as it's not this year's Backlash, then we will be good to go, and we will do 2004 2 weeks from today, unless I'm looking at the calendar and I'm not seeing something. You guys can bear with me 1 second. I am in the middle of answering a text to my landlord, and I just have to do this as well. In the meantime, you can pull up your Peacock. That's how we watch these pay-per-views on the watch-alongs. It took me a hell of a time to find Backlash because it's hard to search for anything. It's hard to find anything on the network, but I did finally find it. You pull up the Backlash tab, you're going to want to go to Season 4 of Backlash, Episode 1. According to Peacock, the runtime on this is 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 15 seconds. So here in just a couple of minutes, we'll hit play together, and we will watch Backlash 02. But in the meantime here, while you all are doing that, I just have to read this. I'm so sorry. Okay. I need to kind of answer that, but that's a lot of information. I'm dealing with a faulty dryer in our laundry room up here. It's been acting up, so I'm kind of texting my landlord about it, like, what do you want me to do? And he's just now decided to text me all this stuff right in the middle of my live stream. So, yeah, okay, I'll look at that later. So anyway, good to see you guys. Let me see when we were here last. Yesterday for the podcast. Appreciate you that were here for that. That was a lot of fun. I want to say hi to Ben, J. Lambo, Justin. We've got Matthew, Tatanani. We Are Pro Wrestling in the house. Jet the Hawk, Rodrigo, Marcus, WWE fan, Deshaun. Andy, did I get you already? Sunny Man, George Morris. What's up, dude? Appreciate the $5. Hey, Greg, how are you doing? Backlash 02, 0 out of 10. I was supposed to watch this with Richard, but 2 hours before he was arrested. All right, was he hanging out with Sonny? Well, poor Richard. That sucks, man. People always let you down, don't they? What's up, Timu? What you going to do when Hulk Hogan comes back, or Hulk Hogan's comeback runs wild on your undisputed title reign? Yeah, that's what he's going to be saying to Triple H. And as somebody like me who was more on the WWE side of the WWE and WCW war, I was just surprised after all that, all that bad blood and all the animosity and the shots taken by both sides, all the shitting on that went on in WWE of Hulk Hogan, the billionaire Ted skits. He's old, he's in a walker, he's bald, and then they put the title on him. It was just so hypocritical, but whatever. The fans were basically clamoring for that, and they were calling for it. And Hogan has always been over it no matter what. That's always been the case. Good to see K-Dog's Kennel. Kevin's in the house too. So is Barry, friend from Hawaii. We've got Nate Dogg is here as well. Headlocked Gaming in the house. Robert Thomas. Thomas Aridia, thank you for that $5. Hey, Greg, to be honest, I really hope WWE doesn't end the brand split now. I like the shows with different identities and different stars on each brand. I haven't gotten on a big look at wrestling news today, but I did see that Andrew Zarian of the Matman podcast had mentioned that WWE, as of right now, doesn't really have a full-blown plan in place for what they're going to do for these titles, which does not shock me at all. They never do. And I think part of the reason why they've pissed away so many golden opportunities that were sure things, guaranteed home runs, and they've just pissed them away due to poor planning because they start something with no idea how they're going to finish it. It's how it's always happened. This dates all the way back to the higher power or the greater power. That's the best example of that. I believe that's kind of where it all first started, is when you really thought WWE was going to do something awesome, bring in Jake Roberts, bring in the $1 Million Man, bring in the Ultimate Warrior, do something crazy with The Undertaker in the ministry, and it just turns out to be Vince because they start teasing something as a big deal, and then by the time it's time to reveal that big deal, it's a letdown. Austin being ran over is another one. He was hit by the car. I don't think they knew at Survivor Series 1999 who the person behind the wheel was. They had no idea there. They just figure that shit out at the next year when Austin comes back. And then he does, and they make it Rikishi. And the fans are like, what the fuck? And then they're like, okay, that was stupid. Let's make Triple H the mastermind behind it, which is what they really should have just done all along, either him or The Rock. So it's stuff like this that is just frustrating because they just, they're going to fumble it. They're going to fuck it up because they don't plan. They don't think. They don't care enough to. They just write TV during lunch that day and throw that shit on, live at 8 p.m. It's ridiculous. So I am worried for what WWE will wind up doing. The good news is those belts are around the shoulders of Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is their top dog. If anybody's going to get preferential treatment and care in terms of storylines and planning, it's going to be him. So if they can't do it right with him, there's no hope for anybody in that company. So let's hope that things work out well and the championship unification or whatever it is they're trying to do makes sense and takes us in a new direction. I play video games on easy mode. What's up, dude? Appreciate the $2 and hello to you as well. We Are Pro Wrestling. I believe the original idea for Backlash 02 was going to be Triple H Taker for the world title, but Hogan's popularity for Mania switched plans up. Yeah, I could see that. Taker beat Flair. See, I thought Triple H would just rematch Jericho, which he would end up doing, right? They would do the Hell in the Cell a couple months later, but I kind of thought they would just do it right here. So Triple H must have been a pretty good sport to understand that, holy shit, this guy's super over. I kind of need to step aside and give Hogan the title, but that's got to be a blow to his ego. It was a babyface match. There's even a show of respect at the end, and, Triple H, wasn't too bummed out about it, I suppose, or he wasn't being crazy about it, but it was still bullshit the way he was attacked, and then he lost the title, and then he still shook Hogan's hand. I'd be pretty pissed. He'd go on to be a heel just a few months later, but we never got that return. I think this is the only match between Triple H and Hogan, right? I don't think we got another one. We might have, but actually, now that I think about it, we might have. We Are Pro Wrestling. You know the answer to this. I don't. Mike Witt, is Benoit on this match? I didn't look at the card, Mike, but I don't believe he is because I believe Benoit was injured around this time. He was about to come back. I think he came back in Canada, and then he turned heel, something like that, right? I think we're close to it, but I don't believe he was on the show. I could be wrong, though. I've been wrong about a lot. WrestleMania Backlash is on May 8th, followed by June, Hell in the Cell in June. Oh, Backlash is not till May. Oh, well, that's a relief. Whoa, that's how long we've got until Backlash? Holy shit, that means we have 4 weeks left of Ronda Rousey promos? Holy shit. Are we sure we want to do that to ourselves, y'all? Man, oh man. Well, anyway, let's get Backlash pulled up here and get to rocking and rolling, because if we start now, we can finish right up at the top of the hour, especially for those of you on the East Coast who've got to get up and go to work tomorrow. I do not, so I'm lucky. Plus, I'm on the West Coast. One more super chat before we start watching Backlash. Thomas, thank you again for $5 more. Also, I will be in LA next year for WrestleMania. Would love to meet you and keep it on the down low. I plan on proposing, to my girlfriend at the show, and you're saying this online? Dude, is she watching right now? That's awesome. That's really great. I hope that works out, and I would love to meet you. We're definitely going to be doing a meetup next year because there's going to be a lot of people in LA, and it's going to be fun. Hopefully, we'll be doing some meetups at Double or Nothing in May as well, but I think next year at Mania is going to be extra special fun. Is there a Saudi Arabia show this month? No, Saudi Arabia is probably not going to get another show till October-ish. This is from what I understand. Yeah, I knew I was right. We All Pro Wrestling. Hogan and Triple H had a rematch in June on SmackDown. Triple H, I'm assuming, won that, or did he not? Because you'd think a guy like that's got to get his win back. But Hogan, he jobbed his balls off. I mean, his little nostalgia run, as much as it maybe bothered me, it sure as shit didn't last long. Because he dropped belt to Taker at Judgment Day, and then I think he wrestled Angle and lost. He wrestled Brock and lost on that SmackDown where he rubbed the blood, and then apparently worked Triple H too. So he jobbed a lot. It was so weird when he would come back in 05, and then all of a sudden, After all of that jobbing, after all of that humbling in 2002, when they, when The Rock beat him, Undertaker beat him, Angle beat him, Brock beat him, everybody beat him in 2002. He comes back in 2005 with all this creative control bullshit. Crazy. And then all of a sudden, Shawn's not good enough to beat him after everybody else did. Crazy. But anyway, we're flapping our gums too much. We can talk about this shit as we watch the show. How we do it here is I'm going to do a countdown from 3. We're all going to hit play together. The timer above my head is going to start moving, and it will never stop. So if you have to pause your shit, or if your stream freezes, if your internet goes down, if your house explodes, if anything like that happens, all you have to do is just sync your shit back up with the timer, and I'll do the same thing. That way, if I have an interruption in the internet connection, in the streaming connection, anything like that, it rarely happens, but in case it does, I will also just catch up with the timer and catch up with all of you guys. So that's kind of how it works. So hopefully you guys got your fingers on your play button. And for those of you who have been doing this with me for well over a year now, we're into about a year and 4 months of watch-alongs every Sunday. So it's been fun. And I have got to do the double mouse thing because I got 2 computers running here. So I'm going to go over to the timer to get that started, the play button over here, and we're going to do a countdown from 3. Hopefully you guys are ready to rock. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Perfect. Do not skip the intro or any of that bullshit. We got to watch the video package first. Mike, you'll probably stop watching if your house explodes. Man, just get a broom and a dustpan, clean up a little bit, fire your shit back up. It's no big deal. You can clean up tomorrow. Clean the rest tomorrow. Triple H. I'm honored to get in the ring with him. 2001 Triple H wouldn't be saying that. He'd be like, fuck that guy. Was Hogan still coming out to Jimmy? He wasn't doing Real American yet, I don't think, right? Even when he was red and yellow. Oh, you know what? I bet you in the main event, it's going to be so edited. Oh, it's going to be horrible. I mean, this is kind of an interesting match for the time. I mean, Triple H just got made, a year or 2 before. It does seem like there is more, like, multiple Hogans. Like, I look at, like, 86 through 1990 Hogan differently than I look at 1991 through 1993 Hogan, differently than I look through at WCW Hogan and here. It's like there's 4 Hogans, and they're all different. Like, the Hollywood Hogan doesn't even resemble the same guy that was battling with Paul Orndorff in 86. To me, they're 2 completely different people, but it's the same dude. I don't know what this horrible song is, but I'm turning it down. Ooh, Edge and Angle, Austin Taker. Nice. So this would have been, okay, so if it's Austin and Taker, obviously Austin loses because I did see on the graphic that it was a number 1 contenders match. Did he have to lose a match here? Because, well, he was doing the angle with Flair, so Flair probably fucks him over. But, this is right after he walked out. After WrestleMania 18, he left, remember? So, they probably sure as hell weren't going to put him over in the very next pay-per-view. So maybe they were, I don't know, half-ass punishing him. I don't know. But he'd be leaving again in a couple months. Oh, are they at Kemper? Oh, that's gnarly. I don't know if this is the first show after Owen. Nah, they must have been there before this. As far as I know, they still ran the town. It's an unmistakable look to the building because that camera was fixated on the audience for so long when Owen was being attended to. Tori, what are you wearing? Something tells me that robe's coming off. I hope it comes off anyway. What's up, SCW Wrestling Channel? Made an appearance on his channel a couple of weeks ago. Triple H was his most jacked at this time, for sure. And he would quickly lose it. By the time we got 1 year later and he was working like the summer of '03 in Goldberg, against Goldberg? Remember what shitty shape he was in? I think he had an injury because he was wearing like the weird trunks and he just lost all of his definition. He was pudgy looking almost. Like he just didn't look in good shape. Like he stopped going to the gym. I would love for them to go back to that set. I loved those swinging hooks. Weren't those cool? I think like the first Backlash, Rock and Austin were fighting into him or something. Oh, I think I knew about WCW because the Benoit-Brett match was in Kemper, right? So then they must have gone back there and held a pay-per-view in 2000. But I know the Brett-Benoit-Owen tribute match that was on Nitro was in Kemper, I'm pretty sure. Right? We Are Pro Wrestling? Do I have that right? Tajiri and Kidman. So is Tajiri, or I'm sorry, is Kidman and Tori together at this time? Were they still a couple? It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's basically on this. The set more looks like a Raw entranceway, but with the Backlash hooks up there. Pardon me, 1 second while I just answer this text. Oh, Jay Lambo, you're from Topeka. We're just good Topeka people, man. Anybody know that movie? I am a golden god. Come on, y'all. Y'all are cool. We're just good Topeka people, man. Oh, no kidding. The Slamboree 2000 was in Kemper. That was the Triple Cage match. Wow. See, I don't know a lot of WCW's venues, but I remember the Triple Cage match. I had no idea that was at Kemper. It's kind of weird. They built something really tall. There you go, Ratnick. Almost famous. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I love this lampshade when he goes into the Topeka house and he's just fucking. What did he take? Acid? Oh my God. Don't give him any more acid. Love that movie. Nice, Rana. Don't do drugs. My favorite in that movie, though, is Philip Seymour Hoffman. He fucking nailed Lester Bangs. Oh, my God. Damn, he looked like he tagged Billy for real on that baseball slide. Is there a sign in the crowd that says Kurt Anal? I really hope that's what it says. It would be fitting and perfect for the Attitude Era. Watch this baseball slider. Oh, my God. Yeah, you can't even. Ugh. Yikes. If I was any sort of close friend to Owen, I couldn't wrestle in the building. If I was a colleague, if I was an acquaintance, it'd probably be fine. But if I had any sort of closeness, if I was a family member, if I was his best friend or something like that, I would flat out refuse to wrestle. Because I went to, I was at King of the Ring 99, and that was the first pay-per-view after Owen died. And one of the very first things I did when I got in the arena, I'd been to a bunch of WWE shows, but I've never really visualized how fucking far up that is. And I was down there and I was looking up at the ceiling, and all I thought about was him. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because I was on the floor. So I'm looking way up there, and I'm like, I cannot believe he fucking fell from there. Like, it just was surreal that something like that could even happen, to even just look up there and I'm like, God damn. And I just stared at the ceiling for like 5 minutes. One of the first things I did when I got in the building. So, sitting right next to Vlad, that super fan that's always in the front row. The WWE apparently did a documentary on, but they never released it. JR loves bringing up people's degrees. Everybody's got a degree. JR's got to say it. I'm like, what the fuck do you need an economics degree in wrestling for? He used to say every time D'Lo would wrestle, he's like, he's a CPA. I'm like, okay, good for him. I'm glad he's got something to fall back on, but an accounting degree ain't gonna do shit when you're fighting The Rock. Oh, Bradshaw and Hall is on this. That would actually be a pretty good real-life fight. Who you got in that? Healthy? I kind of got Scott Hall. You don't fuck with Scott Hall. Or at least I hope Scott Hall would beat him, because I fucking hate JBL. Technically, is this the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era? I think it's the transition period. I think Attitude Era was maybe even technically kind of dead in 01. But I think the official end of all that stuff would just probably be the next month when they would eliminate F, and it would be WWE. Coming up on the 20-year anniversary of that. I got to do a video on that when that happens. Because it took me a decade just to stop saying WWF. Oh, my God. They are just not messing around in this match. Fucking Savate kick took Kidman's jaw off. Chris Minor, $2. Only 3 active wrestlers on this show? Jesus, for real? Hardy, Brock, and Edge? Damn. It's a good opener, though. Yeah, Barry, you're right. This would be Hall's last match. His last run. Oh, missed the shooting star. His last run was actually in April. At Good Friends, Better Enemies. Lost to Vader for leaving for WCW. So he likes to wrap his shit up in April. And actually, technically May, because then the curtain call would happen, which is actually around the same time as the plane ride from hell. So everything really lines up with Hall. Ugh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that my JBL disdain is probably a little bit irrational, because even though he's an asshole and has been known to be an asshole, that's just what he once was. I mean, he's even made up with Blue Meanie, the guy that he brutally attacked on pay-per-view. And for that, the fact that those guys can, be for... Oh, missed in the face. Red mist, too. Oh, he's going to win. That's it. Tajiri wins with the red mist. So, he's come around. A lot of people are, he's still on WWE TV from time to time. And it's not like wrestling doesn't have a whole lot of other assholes in it that I've loved and supported. So he's just a different type of asshole. There's a type of asshole like JBL, and then you got a type of asshole like Shawn Michaels. They're both equally big of assholes, just in completely different directions. Look at Tori. Wait, we're not going to get the thing off? What a jip. Oh, yeah. Yeah, did anybody answer me, or I didn't see it? Are they still boyfriend, girlfriend? Tajiri's theme music sounds like it would be like a Sega Genesis fighting game song, like a Mortal Kombat-ish type song. Like the opening screen or the intro screen, press start, like that music that's playing. That's what I envision, or something at the arcade. Oh, the official end of the Attitude was at 19. I think that's way late. Oh, look, they're back together right after the draft. Oh, here comes Scott Hall. I mean, I think at the time I was more on Bradshaw's side here because I still looked at NWO, Hall, Nash, and Hogan as, as poison. And I didn't really want to see those guys coming in, even though I liked Hall and Nash, always have. I didn't want to see them coming in and just beating everybody, Oh, man, is that X-Pac with Kane's mask? Oh, man. Yeah, Bradshaw would kind of be a singles on Raw. He was doing stuff with... Was he doing stuff with Tajiri, or was he doing stuff with Taka Michinoku? What was he doing on Raw for a while there in that year? And then I think the following year he would start transitioning into JBL. Yeah, this is before the plane ride from hell. I don't know the exact date on the plane ride from hell. I don't even know the exact date on this show. But they're very close together. New. I don't even know if I have this DVD, actually. I don't know. I don't think I do. I'll never find it. Yeah, I can't see that far. I do have Judgment Day 2002 DVD, which is rare, apparently. I don't think I paid rare money for it. Might have paid 20 or 30 bucks for it, but I think it's worth more than that. Just crazy seeing Razor and Kid. I mean, this is only 8 years after. No, this is 9 years after that match on Raw. I think the Ruthless Aggression era started when Vince did that promo. What's, Oh, good. He's going to come down there and hold off Little Sean. That'd be an interesting fight. Ron Simmons versus Sean Waltman. I like both of them. I like everybody in this match except for Bradshaw. I even like the referee. Look at the pop these guys are getting just for a handshake, man. Crowds were still hot back then. Nobody was on their phone. That definitely plays a big role in crowd reaction, is everybody having phones. Because your attention's diverted. Even me, when I go to shows, I'm tweeting something or whatever, and when somebody's coming out, I'm not going, ah! So, I think that's why you get reactions that are a little more lukewarm. Like when Cody came out, I thought it was a great reaction, but it wasn't nuts. Probably because a lot of people were on their phones tweeting, holy shit. It's like the ovation is on social media now. I kind of wish Hall still had the little drips on his pants or his trunks instead of the NWO stuff. Yeah, Ruthless Aggression to me started kind of when the brand split happened, and then John Cena, I just remember when he kind of came in. That's to me when my brain feels like it started. But we're still a ways off from that. Oh, Hall and Simmons. I don't recall. Diamond Stud might have worked against Simmons in WCW. I don't remember. But I don't recall too many Wow, look how shiny those mats are. Like brand new. Look at that. They look slippery. Yeah, Steven Escalante. I think we're going to watch Backlash 2004. Probably 2 weeks from tonight. Can't do it next week because it's Easter and I got to work and deal with that nightmare. Thanks for the follow, Lubu. Yeah, so you're right. John didn't even do anything till later this year. So there's no really official date on when this shit starts, but in my head, I think of Ruthless Aggression with when Cena came on the scene. Because, I didn't really feel Ruthless Aggression yet. Even up till summer, I wasn't thinking SummerSlam 02. I didn't have a Ruthless Aggression mindset going into that either. So, I'd probably seen late 02 sometime. 03. I think 02 was a transition period between Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression. Somebody just slammed their door in there. Yeah, maybe Judgment Day 2000. Oh, that was a good one. That was the, though, that's the Iron Man match. Iron Man matches are hard to do for watch-alongs. We need to keep shit moving instead of spending 1 hour in one match. That's why I haven't done, WrestleMania 12. Like, the whole pay-per-view is one match, But somebody mentioned on Twitter to me, I already put it on my notes for watch-alongs. In June, we're definitely going to watch King of the Ring 1993. Maybe we'll do some Bad Bloods or something too, but I definitely want to take a look at King of the Ring 93. We haven't watched that one together yet, and that's great. All sorts of good shit on that show. Ooh, I got a notification. Fightful Select just shared details behind Cody Rhodes' first week back in WWE for patrons only. Maybe I'll read it to you. I think the APA is arguably more over than the NWO here at this point. Yeah, that's a good point, too, We Are Pro Wrestling, because you notice the minute Austin walked out, Vince was done with that 50-50 shit. Immediately on Raw, they booked a match, right? It wasn't the same night. Vince, did something. I forgot what it even was. There was just some sort of main event that happened that got Vince his control back of the company. It was basically he was over it. He's like, Austin left. I'm not going to put up this charade, this stupid storyline. I'm taking back over. Because some people might believe this stuff is real and think Ric Flair really does own 50% of the company, and he's the reason Austin left. But it is interesting that happened basically all on the same night. Or maybe it was the next week. I forgot what it was. I think the first night, was it when The Rock? Or was it the follow? Okay, it was the next week maybe is what it was. And that's when The Rock came out. I don't remember, but it was something like that. But I think the 50-50 split between Vince and Flair ended in large part because Oh, big clothesline from hell. Is he going to put him down with that? No, he's close to the ropes. On the ropes. Damn, Hall took that clothesline from hell, too. Oh, shit. Run, X-Pac. Is JR saying scalded dog or scolded dog? Like scalded, like with hot scalding water? Who the fuck is scalding dogs? And do you know their names? Oh, X-Pac. Nice. Oh, got the win. Fuck yeah. Yeah, suck it, Bradshaw. He's a bigger star than you. He's made more money than you. He gets more pussy than you. He's better than you, Bradshaw. Got a better look, better physique. He's more handsome. Every single category. Scott Hall is better than Bradshaw. Yeah, what the fuck is a government mule? I don't know. I've heard of government cheese. I don't know about a government mule. And what is the government doing with mules is what I want to know. Actually, I don't want to know. If it's a Republican governor, they're probably fucking it. Ah, big low blow. I mean, even for Jim Ross to be calling this show. Hey, folks, we're in Kansas City, Kemper Arena, where I had to make the most difficult announcement of my whole fucking life and sit here at this very same desk doing the exact same thing again. Oh, here comes Vince. Ah, I'm happy. Look how young Vince looked. He's still... Oh, he's going right into Flair's office. Look at Flair's shitty little... They just put a desk in a locker room in a plant. That's Mitch's grandfather, by the way.
Pretty damn impressive. I didn't come here to talk to you about NWO. I came here to tell you that I think I'm beginning to like your...
Ben, I do a lot of crazy things, but one thing I don't do is praise Creed. My sacrifice. Look at Arn. Such a badass.
Ungrateful people. And not only that, they question everything that you do. They question your integrity, Rick. It's got to be getting to you. And they're very distrustful of you. So, what I'm saying is, Rick, you're beginning to feel the heat as an owner.
Yeah.
And now what have you done? Placed yourself between a rock and a hard spot.
A rock and a hard spot? What the fuck is that, Vince? That was a rock and a hard spot. Getting out some cash money. You want some Benjamins? I've got to do.
Maybe this is a stroke of brilliance. I don't know yet.
I'm getting some money ready because I have a delivery on the way.
You can't relate to me. You haven't got a clue who I am. You never have known who I am, and you never will. One thing for sure, I'll never be like Vince McMahon. Well, maybe not, but you could try.
You could try. I didn't like this angle either. I thought Flair was better in the role that they had him in later on, and like a year later with Evolution and stuff. Like being part owner, it's dumb. All right, let's cash back. Boy, you know what? I mean, I'm a grown man. I got a good job. I live in a nice house, but I will never get any more fancy than a goddamn Billabong Velcro wallet. I love it. These things are awesome. It's got a little zipper in here. You can zip your shit up, and you can put all sorts of credit cards and stuff in it. They're great, and they're great for traveling. You know, if you drop it, your shit doesn't spill out. They're safe. It's not fancy and leather. It's just good old $12 off Amazon, and that's all I ever use. If I go to the fanciest, nicest restaurant, if I'm invited to the White House for dinner, I'm bringing my Billabong wallet. None of that leather shit. So we got Trish and Molly up next. I never carry cash. It's just the place that's delivering only does cash, so I had to go get some. Yeah, my wallet is always cashless. Never. I am plastic only. Here comes Molly. Yeah, Velcro wallets are the best. I'm partial to these. I've tried a lot of Velcro wallets, but the Billabong one is the one that I like the best. It's the most secure. It's got the most room, and it's just awesome. Like, it's great for traveling. You know, if I go to Hawaii or if I go to the beach and you throw it in the sand or something, your shit's safe in there, you know? It's good if you're an outdoorsy person or if you're a mountain biker or shit like that. A cheater. I do. Molly, speak for yourself, girl. Molly is, yes, in the Hall of Fame, I believe, right? She's the best. Seriously, Molly was she was in WCW. She was like Miss Madness Mona. And she was always a good worker. I was happy when they brought her in because, man, the women's division this time needed some workers. And you had the Trishas and the Victorias and the Mollys, you know, to counterbalance the Tories and the Stacys and shit. Here comes Jazz. Oh, Jazz is the women's champion. Oh, this is a triple threat. I was at Survivor Series 2001 where Trish and Jazz battled. I believe they did. Is Jazz still with, she was married to Rodney Mack? Whatever happened to him? I always low-key liked him. When he did deal with Teddy Long and stuff, they were together or married. I have no idea if they still are. I always liked both of them. I like Jazz and ECW. But Jazz is another girl that she would have benefited much better just being around now, you know? Look how she's moving around in there. Imagine if we had Jazz, you know, in there now, getting it on with Charlotte and stuff. That'd be great. Oh, they're still together. Good for them. Good. I'm happy. That makes me happy. Wrestling marriages never last, so you're always happy when one does. Oh, Mac is in the NWA, so he's still around. If WCW didn't go out of business, I don't know. I don't think Hogan was around at all. Was he? Well, no, I guess he was. He did come back and battled against the New Blood or something. I barely remember the final days of WCW. I just know he wasn't there at the very end. Because he wasn't anywhere around that in Final Nitro or anything. So if We Are Pro Wrestling still in the chat, he can probably give us some final dates for Hogan. I just remember him like in '99 working with Kidman. So maybe the Bash at the Beach, the shit with Jarrett was his last appearance. Right? I don't know. I think that was his last appearance, but I could be wrong. They got two twin girls? That's awesome. Probably two little badasses. Little Nate in there working. He worked the Charlotte and Ronda match at Mania. Jazz is so strong. Oh, big power bomb. Sit down power bomb. Batista bomb to Trish. Jesus, Trish's hotness should be illegal. I don't know. Razor and Diesel staying in 96 would have changed a lot of things. Wrestling would have, I think its growth would have been stunted even more than it already was, because even though I was sad to see them go, it turned out to be the best thing for wrestling. It took it in a way more exciting direction. I think a lot of the characters and the storylines would have stayed the same in both companies had they stuck around. You'd have Dungeon of Doom dominating shit on Nitro, and Razor and Diesel and Undertaker and all those guys dominating on Raw, and you probably would have not gotten Austin over the way he did. Oh, Trish was going for her Stratusfaction, but Jazz countered. Oh, Mac was a part of the concussion lawsuit? Yeah, a lot of guys jumped in on that hoping for an easy payday, and it didn't pay off. Now they're all blackballed. Ooh, nice leg whip. Or leg lace, excuse me. Sorry, Jim Ross. I don't even know who it was, but I was scrolling, fucking around YouTube, like around WrestleMania time, and I stumbled across this watch-along. It was like a few guys. I never heard of any of them. It was like 3 people were watching, so it wasn't a big deal. But one guy is it's so funny. I don't know why I find this so funny, but it's like 4 dudes doing a stream. They're watching WrestleMania together, and 3 of them are normal, and they're just talking about the shit. And then there's one guy that's like calling the matches as if he's the play-by-play announcer. Rah, rah, and a kick out, and all this. I'm like, what are you doing? Just fucking chill. Watch the show. I mean, I guess it's good practice if you're an aspiring commentator, but I'm like, you are so taken away from these other 3 guys by screaming the calls like you're fucking. It was basically like Mauro Ranallo come to life. All right, Jazz retains. Good for her. I couldn't stop laughing. So they're doing this a lot at this time. They're doing these post-match interviews. Who's this guy? Joe Fowler? Somebody looks like Joe Fowler. I forget his name. Jazz doesn't talk. Don't ask her any questions. Paul Heyman winning to Lita's locker room. What are you doing, Heyman? Why is he? Oh, it's probably because Brock is messing with the Hardys. That's why he's messing with Lita. I get it. Mark Lloyd, thank you. I forgot about Mark Lloyd. I just remember Joe Fowler from the 90s. He came in for like 3.5 minutes. He was in the company so short. I don't know. If I see any generic white guy, I'm like, that's Joe Fowler. That's racist.
It all depends on how you want to play.
This was after the chair shot. I know exactly which chair shot you're talking about. The one to the Jeff Hardy laid on Brock's face. It's the gnarliest chair shot to this day I've ever seen. It's 20 years old. If you've never seen it, but you can't find like a chair. I used to have a video up on my second channel, actually. It might still be there. I don't even know. I haven't looked at that channel in years. But if you can find a good quality version of it where you can hear the sound, it's crazy. We might hear it right here. Maybe they'll show a replay. Oh, Lord. God, Brock. How scary is a 25-year-old Brock? Jesus Christ. Me and Brock were born in the same year. Yeah, Heyman, man, he held onto that ponytail for a long time. I just remember how dirty and greasy Paul Heyman used to look, you know, when he was in ECW. Never shaven, hadn't washed his hair in 3.5 months, fucking cheese in his eyes, you know, and then when he comes to WWE, and then now he's super clean cut, and he's dressed nice, and he's showers. Look at how young Brock looks. Jesus. Oh, that's right, Barry. I forgot I simplified that and put all the videos off when I thought I had to move over there for a live stream when my channel a couple years ago got a bullshit copyright strike, and it took me a couple of days with WWE to figure it out. And so I thought I was going to have to move shit over there, so I just kind of blocked out all the videos. I should put some of those back up. Had a lot of help that day. Steve from Steven Larson, Sean Ross Sapp, and a couple of others all sent me contacts to WWE and helped me get that worked out. So thanks again to them. That really helped. Oh, I thought this was like a handicap match or something. This is Jeff and Brock one-on-one? Okay. Jeff looks like he's about to come clean my house with that headband. Might just start in the bathroom, Jeff. That's a WWE theme. Or, I'm sorry, an AEW theme they were playing just then. Whoa, is this what Brock's music was? Did he not have his deal yet, huh? I kind of forgot all about this early Brock theme. Unless it's edited. If I was invited to Quizlemania, I'd do it for fun, but I don't really want to because I suck at trivia. I know shit, but, like, I can't... I did a no DQ one time, and it was just ridiculous. So, like, who was the 8th entrant in the 2008 Royal Rumble? I'm like, I don't even know who the fucking winner of the 2008 Royal Rumble is, much less the 8th goddamn entrant. So shit like that. Like, I just don't have that kind of wrestling mind anymore. If I could limit it to the 90s, I'd squash everyone. But anything beyond that, I know stuff, but I don't know exact stuff. Could not really nail down dates. And I remember a lot of those questions were like random Royal Rumble shit. And I'm like, I don't even know who won this one, you know, much less who's coming in or getting eliminated by or anything like that. So trivia frustrates me because I just don't care that much to have that type of knowledge in my head. So no, I'm no interest in Quizlemania. I'm a perfect combination of a smart and casual fan. I know crazy shit. Some of the stuff I say on here, you guys are like, how the fuck does he know that? But then there's also real simple shit that I have to ask you guys. You know, like, hey, you guys, I'm asking you questions all the time. Why the hell do you think We Are Pro Wrestling is even here? To help me out. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, I missed a super chat earlier. Sorry. Who's that from? Terry Allen Jr. Thank you, man. Sorry about that $2 earlier. One man's journey to standalone tagline. Is he yelling at Lita? Lita's appearance on Broken Skull Sessions was really good if you haven't seen that. I don't know how Brock's nose and face wasn't broken. Like, there was no faking that, but like he didn't come away with a big bruise, or his nose wasn't splattered all over his face, but Hardy caught him flush in the face with that chair, and I just don't know how he wasn't in the hospital for 3.5 months. Jeez, Brock. Ugh. At some point, God, look at Lita. At some point, they do a handicap between these guys, right? Yeah, this is way pre-Suplex City, Brock. Yeah, he was actually doing things in the ring except just throwing 28 Germans. Ugh. Oh, yeah. Shit, my bad. Raymond, I didn't give any love to Teddy Long. I'm always shouting out the referees. I just wasn't looking at them. I'm probably watching it like I'm watching a 2022 show, and I just tune the referees out. They're not even visible to me anymore. But Teddy, he's in there. Throwing 28 Germans. Yeah, it does sound funny. Is Germany the only country with a suplex? Do we have a Mexican suplex? Do we have an American suplex? An Australian suplex? Oh, swinging that chair. Oh, my goodness. Oh, there's the F5. See him do it on the chair? Ooh, almost. Came very close to it. It's like, why'd they get to be the only country with a suplex? That's not fair. I was like, give me a Canadian suplex or forget it. Ugh. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Lita didn't want to do the AEW appearance. She's another, like, personality, though, that, you know, unless she's just looking for an appearance or quick payday or spotlight, but she doesn't seem like that type of person. Plus, she'd be Amy Dumas in AEW, and she just can continue her Lita shit in WWE. Make appearances for them, do guest spots, guest judge. Ugh. Oh, Teddy's just going to stop this. Jeff gets beat by Mercy Rule. Brock Lesnar has hit 14 home runs in the third inning, so we're going to go ahead and call it. There's nothing anyone can do as it relates to Brock Lesnar. I don't know when he would get his new Brock theme. I have no idea when that debuted. Guess it would be in the next couple months or a few weeks. Damn, Jeff Hardy. God. Jesus. Ugh. You're sorry, but you had a thing for Lita? Don't be sorry. I think we all had a thing for Lita. I think I still kind of do. My girlfriend always gets a kick out of her because, like, we watched her on the Broken Skull sessions, and she's seen footage of Lita before, but she's seen a lot of footage of Lita when she was with Edge, and she was dressed like the craziest, sluttiest outfit. And every time she'd see her, she'd go, God damn. Like, I'm like, I know. It's crazy. And she even said that on Broken Skull Sessions. She was like, you know, I purposely tried to wear the sluttiest possible thing I could find because that's, you know, I had so much heat and I was a heel and that's what I wanted to do. And she did it well. She got no complaints out of good mic work. So Edge and Angle again, huh? What was their issue at this time? Edge was about to get hurt, right? Would he get injured at some point? No, I guess it would be later in the year. Did they? Oh, I guess that would have been the previous year, though. I'm trying to think. Angle and Edge, I want to say final King of the Ring one year. That must have been a previous year. Yeah, 01.
I know we've had our problems lately. Well, the more I've been thinking about it, the more I feel bad. What? Well,
I miss it when they had the kazoos.
I mean, really good friends. Yeah, we were. So what? Well, I was going through my attic the other day. Look what I found. I found these pictures.
I forgot about this. Oh, God. Oh, they have. I'm a dork. I have no testicles. Oh, he did see this. Oh, man.
There's one thing I can't stand. It's a loudmouth Canadian with long blonde hair who dresses like a rock star.
Oh, yeah, so he'd get his head shaved right after this. I think it was Edge that did it, right? I forgot who shaved Angle's head, but it was probably Edge because this is who he's in a feud with now. And then he was wearing the wig and shit after that. Maybe they do a hair match at the next pay-per-view. That's probably what it is. Which means I think Angle's going to win this match. Maybe Angle wins here, and then Edge wins the hair match. A Judgment Day 02, says Mike Pitt. I love this Angle. This is one of my favorite versions of Angle. Hair and bald Angle were both awesome. I don't think they gave Angle a long enough run as a babyface, man. I thought he was over when he beat Austin for the title. And then because that Alliance Invasion Angle shit was such a confusing mess, they were turning everybody left and right. No, I think the shampoo commercial was Edge and Booker. Yeah, Edge's hair has always been a thing for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, here comes Edge. Oh, they're going to play the Rob Zombie theme. Here he comes. Those hooks. Do they stop hooking when you're coming out, or do you have to dodge those shits? I like this theme too. Oh, okay, so Edge would be around for about another year before he'd get hurt. He'd missed 2 WrestleManias, which sucked. Oh, they edited Edge's theme on the Backlash DVD, huh? Oh. Mike, I think he wants Samoa Joe to join the BCC in AEW. Oh God. That's the initials you're looking for there. Lawler just said Edge's hair was nappy. All right, chill out, Imus. It's okay, Mike. Those initials are probably already pre-saved in your search settings. I'm kidding. Oh. Do you think a Canadian like Edge knows nothing about the Olympics? No, Lawler. He's never heard of them before. He doesn't even know what they are. Olympics, what's that? Pretty sure that the people who live in America's hat have heard of the Olympics before. They're great people up there. I think I credit Bret Hart with all my Canada love. Like, I've never spent much time in Toronto a couple times, but never spent an extended time in Canada. And I got Calgary on my bucket list. I'd love to go just stand and look at the Hart House, type of thing. But I've always had Canada's back, probably because of Bret. Yes, Corey, we know this, but Lawler's insinuating that Edge does not. So that's the point. Yeah, Canada, they're kind of good at that hockey stuff. They're not bad. Decent. JJ, $5. Thanks. Forgive me if you've answered this before, but we know Bret is your all-time favorite. Who's your all-time favorite women's wrestler of all time? Sasha Banks for you. For me, Trish Stratus. I actually do have a favorite. And it was almost like she became my favorite out of basically by default and out of pride I was proud of her because she wasn't supposed to be good. She was supposed to be Tori and Stacy. She came in as a fitness model who was just hot, that was just going to be there. And then when they put her in the ring, they're like, oh, she doesn't suck. Oh, not only does she not suck, she's getting better. And then she got better and better. And I thought she was a really solid women's wrestler. And she put in the work and learned how to be a worker. And I just really appreciated that. And I was like, I'm really glad that she knows what she's doing a little bit in there. And, she definitely grew, and you could see her growing pains as she went and how she improved. But I thought she did real well, and she got out before she stuck around too long. And then even when she came back, she proved she still had it. She had a fucking banger against Charlotte. So I was just always really proud of Trish. So I put her, she's my favorite. Because back in the 80s, I didn't have much to choose from. All the kids in my neighborhood were all in love with Wendy Richter, but I didn't give much of a shit about Wendy Richter. And, and you had Moolah, who's gross. And there was not much of a division, really, Sherry Martel, maybe, might be on the list from the 80s, but nobody really stood out because there never really was much of a women's division. There wasn't in the 90s either. Like, Lunder Blaze was the only woman signed to the company, and she was the champion. Everybody else was just her friend she brought in from Japan to work with. Man. I was at one of the first Raws where Trish debuted. It was the one where she was on doing the video spots where she was laying on the tables trying to seduce Bubba Dudley, and she was wearing this like lingerie thing. And I was at that Raw. We all watched that on the Tron together. A lot of very excited men surrounding me. Could make a case for Medusa too, but I felt like Medusa about the same way I did. I was going to say Lunder Blaze, but Medusa was just there, but nobody that was wrestling a ton. You know, women's wrestling wasn't that visible back then, so you didn't even really care enough to have a favorite. There's only 4 of them. Ugh. And yeah, the other ones in WWE, had the Leilani Kais and the Velvet McIntyres and stuff, but they never had any sort of real runs or anything. So it was just hard to develop favorites back then. By the way, Velvet McIntyre is Drew's mom. Little known fact. I love Canada's contribution to wrestling. It continues. It was big in the 80s with everybody that, came from the Hearts and Stampede. And then here, even in the 2000s, you had Edge, you had Val Venus, you had Jericho, you had Christian. You had so much talent representing Canada. Oh, I love when Angle does that. God. That running up the rope throw. Yeah, Angle is getting frustrated with Edge. Zach, I wasn't at any super old school pay-per-views. The earliest one I was at was in WrestleMania 3, but I didn't return to pay-per-view until, the 90s. So I was at a lot of Attitude Era pay-per-views. I was at WrestleMania 15. I was at 2 Unforgivens. I was at King of the Ring in 99, SummerSlam in 2000, Survivor Series in 01. I was at, I was at Judgment Day or some shit in like 03, I think. Probably some others. I can't remember. And a ton of house shows. We go to house shows just for fun. House shows were still fun back then. Plus, it was easy to get like good seats and stuff. I sat ringside a couple times for house shows, and it was awesome. Oh my God. Angle, I think, was going to try to rotate out of that German, and he changed his mind or something and landed on his head. Oh, you were Unforgiven 2000, Victor. I was at 98 and 99, both in North Carolina, one in Greensboro, one in Charlotte. I don't remember Unforgiven 2000. Oh, that was when Angle won the belt. No. That would have been the next year. That would have been Angle Triple H. Austin Rikishi. See, I know shit. Who the fuck was the champion then? Rock. He probably worked with, I don't know who the Rock worked on that show. Benoit. Maybe Benoit. How's my math? You got to witness Austin's return. I got to witness the kennel from hell. You win, Victor. Wow, big top rope, crossbody from Edge onto that super shiny floor. They should always do that. Put that gloss or that epoxy or whatever the fuck it is. They should always do that. It looks good. Ooh. Angle definitely got the worst of that. Not many. WrestleMania's only 3 and 15. Next year will be my 3rd. I will be at WrestleMania 39 in LA. It's right up the road from me. Oh, big top rope missile dropkick from Edge. Oh, Undertaker and Kane, they ran that back, huh? Because I was at the pay-per-view before, Victor. I was at SummerSlam in 2000. And it was Taker and Kane. It was like a weird no contest thing. Edge just got Angle in position. I was about to say, is the DDT the Edgecution? I don't like Edgecution. I think it's a dumb name. I like the move, though. Up, big Angle slam. Nope. I was like, hey, Edge will kick out of that. Oh, Austin Rikishi, no holds barred was no mercy. Okay, so it was Austin's return probably, right? Was that when he just like stunned Shane or something? Yeah, and then they would do the deal. Yeah, you're right. Mike's right. Ankle lock on Edge. I'm just stepping away in a minute to get another beer, but I can still see the screen. All right, we back. Oh, I thought Edge was going to steal it. I'm like, I can't see him winning the hair match and this one. So I feel like Angle's got to come out on top here. Very resourceful. Spaz, what's up, dude? Appreciate that $10. Hey, Greg. Hope the Greg, the cat, and the chat are well. Recovering from 5 pay-per-views in 3 days. Mania weekend for anyone that's following my channel. It's going to be AEW heavy this week after a weekend of everything else. Yeah, there's a lot of they did the... that's the spot Owens did to get beat by Austin. Oh, Angle kicks out. Yeah, go check out Spaz's channel so he can catch up on AEW stuff. I did the same thing. I had to talk a lot about AEW since we were so WWE heavy last weekend. Because AEW's been busy despite everything, so despite WWE dominating the headlines lately. Yeah, and you were right, Spaz. Yeah, Cody was at work. You had it called all along. I knew it. I knew you'd be right and I'd be wrong. I'm so dumb. He'll be on Dynamite on Monday and be like, psych, fuckers. It was all the work. Or Dynamite on Wednesday, excuse me. Oh! Jesus Christ. Edge just speared a kick. That's ball game. 1, 2, 3. That better be the finish. Hell yeah. Edge kicks out of that, I'd actually be pissed. That was well executed. Edge went in for the spear and Angle literally just fucking kicked him right in the face and Angle slammed him and pinned him. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to do another post-match? I don't even remember this. I don't remember this being like a routine thing unless they just did it for a super short time. Oh, no, they're not interviewing. I'm about to say, I wouldn't want to cut a promo after I've been working. Like, I can barely talk, man. I'm breathing heavy. I'm thirsty. Oh, it looked better than it actually was, but, man, that kick looked really good. Mike, I don't want to see another Stone Cold match. I'm perfect. I'm just quit while you're ahead. Don't risk anything, you know. Although Saudi Arabia is sitting right there, and I can see Crown Prince Fuckhead being like, because he wanted Yokozuna, remember? So I can see him being like, oh, I want Austin. I mean, you could, if the only place I would be okay with this happening is Saudi Arabia, because I don't give a shit what happens in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia sucks. And I have been speculating if they could ever do an Austin and Goldberg tag team match. Maybe not match against each other, maybe not, but a tag match up against, you know, a couple of slimy heels might be fun for Saudi Arabia. I can see them doing that. And it wouldn't be a horrible visual. Austin and Goldberg side by side. Putting them in the ring together, you'd really be risking damaging your legacy by having a stinker match like that. Plus, I would insist that Austin won, and I wouldn't take any other. I'd quit watching wrestling if he lost. I'd be that adamant about it. But so I'd rather not risk it. So I would say no, Austin should not get in the ring. But you know, if they say, "Hey, we'll pay you $3 million to come work for 6 minutes with Goldberg against the Miz and Madcap Moss or something," I'd be like, "Yeah, all right, I'll do that." So is Jericho wrestling, or is he just promoing? Sourpuss. So he just got a promo about how he lost the title last month and he's not booked?
Let me try to rationalize this. Let me try and get this straight. And I was in the main event as the undisputed champion, the very first undisputed champion in the history of the World Wrestling Federation. The top guy.
Just promo. That's all we got here.
Position in the industry, but tonight I stand in this ring in this filthy little town, and I don't even.
Is this when Stephanie comes out? Have they got? Oh no, they were already together. Does he just promo and nobody interrupts him or nothing? Elias doesn't come out or something? All right, buddy. You want to say hi to the chat, or you just want to sit there? Got my cat walking up on me. You all right, bud? You sit down. Sit right here. Even Maven has a match. Did Maven ever face Raven? That would have been fun. What a bitter young man. I'll move my mic in. His feelings are hurt, y'all.
But you know what makes me feel really good? You know what makes me feel absolutely tremendous? The fact that even on a day like this, the worst day of my career, I am still better than each and every one of you.
He's better than us. Hear that? That's where MJF got that shit from. Maven did face Raven. Good. I'm glad they faced. They should face.
Oh, come on. Come on. Do any of you really, truly believe that Hogan deserves the title shot more than I do?
Jericho, I'm kind of with you on this one.
You honestly believe that?
Yeah, we do. They do, Jericho. I don't.
Well, here's a news flash for you. For all you Hulkamaniacs that are trying to live vicariously through Hogan, hoping, praying, believing that the Hulkster can bring the championship back home one last time, well, you're going to be very disappointed. Because that is not going to happen tonight, nor ever again.
Ever again.
Because Hogan is not worthy of being a champion. But Chris Jericho is worthy of being a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Jericho is worthy of having a match at Backlash.
Oh, here we go.
But since I don't, I guess that means I'm not welcome here in Kansas City.
Do we get a match? We don't get a match here.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm just going to leave right now.
Good. See you later, Jericho. Who would win a match between Hakeem and the one-man gang? Well, Hakeem's got the height advantage. I mean, Olajuwon played for a lot of years for the Rockets, and so he's going to have the reach advantage on one-man gang, but Gang's got the power. So I think if Olajuwon can get a couple of shots in, he's going to win, but if Gang grabs him, he's just going to muscle him right down and pin him, and plus he's a wrestler. So I'm going to go one-man gang, but not by much. It's going to be a good fight. Although I do think Hakeem Olajuwon could beat Akeem, the African Dream. He could probably beat him because he was weird and funky. But he ain't beating the gang. Ooh. Taker and Flair. Oh, yeah. Hey, Rick. After I beat the shit out of you last month, and now you're my referee? Arn goes, keep your eye on that guy. Yeah, he's the Undertaker. I'd probably keep my eye on him too. Oh, Eddie. Who's Eddie facing? This will be good. Oh, it's Intercontinental title match. Oh, so this would have been when he was hired back, right? He had already had his stint away at this point. Look at the shape he's in. Ooh, maybe it's Rob Van Dam. Is it Rob Van Dam? I think it's Rob Van Dam. That's my favorite line in the song. Me and my friends used to die laughing. It's like, I'm not afraid of you, my brother, because I'm Latin. Just the way it came off. I'm like, okay, that's why you're not afraid of me? Not because you're big and strong or scary, it's because you're Latin? Okay. I'm not arguing with you. I just think it's weird. Yeah, Eddie and RVD. Does it get more fucking sexy than this? Good God. This is prime Eddie and prime RVD? It sucks I'm going to have to run downstairs for 3 minutes here in a minute. Not a good time for that. Why was this match not at WrestleMania? Who the hell these guys work with at WrestleMania? Did Eddie even work Mania? He might not have. He might have just came back. Help me. When did he get hired back? We just watched Mania 18 a couple weeks ago, but I don't remember an Eddie match. There might have been one. I don't remember anything. Timmy White. About to wrap up his reffing career right around this point, right? I mean, I like this match better than RVD and Jericho, better than RVD and Hardy. Like RVD and Eddie. I mean, you talk about smoothness, gracefulness, elegance. Like they never looked sloppy, clunky, uncoordinated. They were so smooth. Good God. Okay, so Eddie was still gone at Mania, so he just came back in. I don't even remember when or how he returned. I just remember, the Radical Boys kind of ratted him out and got him canned due to his problems, just out of love. And he cleaned himself up or stint in rehab or something and came back. They would do a ladder match on Raw, right? Shortly after this, I think, right? It's a fan ran in the ring. All right, I will be back in like 2 minutes. Got to go outside to pick up my pizza. Let's just say pizza. We are back. I have no idea how long I was gone, but thank you for waiting. Sorry about that. People tuning in the live stream are like, why are we just watching an empty chair? It says Gregory, $235. Ooh. Goodies. We got these things. We got these things. A little pre-roll. Sour warheads. And some good old-fashioned green stuff. Right on. Amnesia Haze. I've never tried this one. We will see. Back to Eddie and RVD. Would Eddie take the title from RVD? I don't even remember. Yeah, and actually Bub has been sitting right here the whole time, so I thought maybe when I was gone he would jump in the seat and be like, what's up, dudes? We're now entering our 7th week since I was told to put him down, and he's made a pretty good recovery. He's doing awesome. So we'll see how long it lasts. Oh, Rolling Thunder countered. Now, Eddie, too, I know he would get real close. He would start the program with Austin, and then Austin would walk out. They did the deal at the bar where he smashed him in the head with a beer or something like that, remember? So I don't know if that was in between the Van Dam stuff or what. I remember feeling bad for Eddie during that, though, because that would have been a good program for him. Yeah, I'm so grateful how he's doing, the little guy. It's going to make everything easier to process, you know, when it does happen, because before it was way too, it was sudden. I knew he was old, but I didn't think that I was going to take him to the vet and be like, oh yeah, he's just got a few weeks, you know, to live. Or if that, you know. But we tried some medicine, we tried some things, and it worked. But they assure me all it's doing is just making him feel good and prolonging the inevitable. Eventually the lymphoma will get him, but he seems happy. He's meowing. He's running all around the house today, having a good time. Oh, look at this move Eddie's got on RVD. Jesus. RVD's flexible as hell, though. He can take that. That's nothing. Oh, I don't know what Austin would have done at SummerSlam 2002. That's a good question. He might have been. His shit might have been wrapped up with Eddie by then, so he might have had to do something else. And if he was, I don't think Rock would have even been there. He probably would have had to put over Brock again. I mean, in a lot of ways, Austin did have a point. You could, because I think essentially The Rock, I don't know if he was always planned to come back and win the title, or they just hot shot of that because Austin left. But if Austin would have been like, hey, look, it's stupid for me to work against Brock in a King of the Ring qualifier on Raw. Why don't you have Brock just get to the King of the Ring tournament some other way, beat somebody else to qualify, win the tournament, have me win the championship, and I'll put Brock over at SummerSlam. That's what they should have done. Just done Brock and Austin at SummerSlam for the title, and Austin loses and Brock wins. It would have made just as big as a statement as when he beat The Rock. Maybe even a slightly bigger one. Austin should have pitched that. So even though Austin was wrong for walking out, I can kind of see his point there. You could have just built that for SummerSlam, and that would have been pretty epic. We're all thanks, Thomas and Mike. Yeah, Bub's a trooper. He's a fighter. He's a warrior. Sorry, just talking about you and petting you. Back in the day, I'd pick him up and hold him from the camera. I don't want to disturb him. He's kind of resting, but he's also like, why are you messing with my face? Why are you touching me? I'm trying to think personally, I think these guys were cool and had respect for each other. I know Van Dam and Jericho had some tension, but I think Van Dam and Eddie were probably cool. But I wouldn't want to be on bad terms with Eddie anyway. The dude fucking stood up to Kurt Angle and took him down in a backstage area one time, I think so. Or Angle took him down, but he certainly wasn't scared of Angle. Oh. Oh my God. I love that somersault power bomb thing Eddie does. Jesus. God. Damn. You know what? I honestly think that Rey Mysterio is a bigger star than Eddie Guerrero. I do. I think he's more influential. He's had a lot longer of a career because Eddie, of course, unfortunately passed away. And he's very recognizable. His mask is recognizable. And he was influential to getting a lot of smaller guys. You know, I don't think Jericho would have main evented WrestleMania 18 had it not been for Mysterio. Kind of helped paving the way of smaller guys being a regular thing, or cruiserweights, and fighting for major titles. Referee just took a bump, and we got a neck breaker on the title. Take care, Matthew Kenny. Oh, wow, nailed him. Jesus. And he got him. Look at that. So I'm like, does Eddie beat Rob Van Dam for the title? Yeah, he does in this match, idiot. Oh, I'm thinking it was down the line or something. See, I love when I don't read the results of the pay-per-views. It's really fun. Not like so much time has passed now. I've seen all these shows, but so much time has passed. Most of these matches, I don't know who wins. Where's your belt, Rob? It's mine now. Congrats, Eddie. Back as the Intercontinental Champion. Let me see. Did I see Eddie win it or China win it? I think I saw China win it at SummerSlam. Guerrero's rock hard body, says Jim Ross. JR. No, the Scorpion King. I never saw the Scorpion King. I never saw the Mummy. I never saw the Rundown. I've never seen none of Rock's movies. Never saw Mr. Tooth Fairy or whatever. Eddie's so beloved because of his passing. But in terms of the mark they made on the industry, it's Ray. It's just the way it is. But it doesn't but if you're judging it on love, yeah, sure, you can love Eddie more than Ray. I might even love Eddie more than Ray too, but Ray's influence made a bigger mark. And that's visibly proven. But Eddie had a great little run there, but you got to remember Eddie's time on top was short-lived. He had fucking 4 months with that title, man. It's all he ever had. And Ray's had a couple of runs. Yeah, because Flair would kind of go heel on him right here. Maybe Flair is technically babyface now. I think maybe he would kind of go heel too. Or turn on Austin or something weird like that would happen. Still with that Sarah tattoo.
All that means is tonight, if you win your match, you two will go to Backlash and wrestle each other. The winner will be the future #1 contender.
Yeah, Eddie's great. None of this is Eddie's fault. Eddie passed away. If his career would have been able to continue, I think they would have been on much more even playing field. But, Ray's had 17 more years to work than Eddie. It's just math. And stun Flair, good. It was weird seeing Austin and Flair in the same company, in the same ring again for the first time since the Flair for the old and all that shit. Cool. I was in the building the night Flair returned in Charlotte, night after Survivor Series. That was awesome. We knew he was coming, though. Everybody, I remember when we were waiting in line to get in. There's kids behind us. Like, you think Flair's going to be here? And I'm like, he might. I was like, he actually might. But it was rumbling, I love the random questions I get in here. Timo, I live in San Diego, California. Avocado is on fucking everything here. And I hate it. I don't like it. I don't really I can eat guacamole, but I don't like a ton of it. And I don't want it on my tacos and shit. I could maybe eat it with some chips, but that's it. I've been to some nice places that'll table side the guacamole for you and stuff, and I can handle that. But motherfuckers here will put avocado in ice cream. It's crazy. They'll put avocado in anything. So I wish I liked it more because you can't avoid avocados here, and they're cheap. They're expensive everywhere else, cheap here. And it's a shame that I don't like them because they are good for you. But I don't like their mushy, buttery, slimy texture. I don't like it. Keep avocado toast away from me and give me a burger. Taker's got his Limp Bizkit song going, a little motorbike. It was Angle. He goes, I know when I spilled milk on Undertaker's motorbike. He was mad. Motorbike. Or bicycle. Maybe he said bicycle. Okay, so Forcible Entry was the end of WWE music CDs for me. I think I did get Forcible Entry, and I think I have it, but I don't recall buying one again. I think I bought that anthology shit they had too. But they started out great with Full Metal. Man, what an album. Volume 2 was okay. Volume 3 is the greatest album of all time, even better than the Beatles' White Album. Volume 4 was also good, but not as good as Volume 3. Pie was stupid. And then Forcible Entry or whatever we're on now, I was kind of done by that point. But man, when Full Metal came out, that was the jam. It was so hard. You couldn't find, I wanted themes so bad. I remember in 1995, I mailed away, it was the early days of the internet. And I found a guy that claimed he had all these themes on like a cassette tape, and I mailed away for it, paid him for it. He sent it back to me, and he did have a bunch of themes on there where they were shit quality, but they were clear. There was no crowd noise or nothing. But back then, WWE wasn't releasing themes. There was no way to get them. Now you just go on YouTube, find anything. And back then, imagining never being able to hear a wrestling theme ever, unless you're watching it on TV when the wrestler's coming out. That's the only chance you ever got to hear these things prior to that Full Metal album coming out. So pre-95, pre-96, there was no way to get your hands on anything. Unless you were just a really good music mixer that could figure out how to do this shit, which I was not. Oh, the wrestling album, both of the wrestling album and Pile Driver. I have them all. I have Pile Driver on VHS and cassette. And the original wrestling album I only have on CD. I don't think they're here. I thought maybe my CDs were up here, but I don't think they are. About to say I'd bust them out, but I think they're in the closet somewhere else. Oh, yeah, the Aggression CD. I can't remember. I remember the cover. I don't know if I have it or not. I think I do. I might have bought it just to buy it, but I never, by that point, I would sometimes buy stuff because I was still kind of a half-assed collector, so I'd buy it because I felt like I had to, not because I wanted it, and I probably bought Aggression because of that. I started caring less about theme songs right around this time. They started not being important to me. Grab them cakes. Hell yeah. Jesus. These guys would work at the previous pay-per-view. The Backlash the year before, it was the tag match, right? Taker and Kane and Austin Triple H. Yeah, and for me as a fan at this time, I did not like that Austin was on the undercard of a pay-per-view that had Hogan in the main event. I just found it gross. I was like, Austin is the only reason this man and the company he worked for didn't defeat you. And you're making him play second fiddle. I saw Austin had a gripe. He just should have handled it better. But he was right in a lot of that. A lot of that stuff. He was right. Austin was probably, in a lot of ways, every bit as difficult to work with as Hogan was, you know. Had to fucking ask his permission to do everything. Oh, WrestleMania, the album from 93. You know what? I don't think... Oh, yeah, I do have that. No, I have the VHS. I have 4 copies of it. This fucking thing. Where is it? Right over here. This shit's what I got. Superstars of Music. They're all sealed. I have 4 copies of this. It has, let's see, I'll show it to you guys. It has WrestleMania, that stupid song. It has the SummerSlam Jam, right on, USA from Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Speaking from the Heart, Randy Macho Man Savage, plus the making of the music video. So this is not the WrestleMania album, I don't think. This is just the VHS bullshit. I don't think I have the CD of that. But I got a bunch of these for some reason. I have never had a Snapple in my life, Rodrigo. But I have had a Fruitopia. Austin doing push-ups. I like... Oh, check out Flair with the red shoes. That's all. Or he might just be wearing his boots. I do like... I didn't even notice Flair's shoes. That's awesome. Fucking red shoes as the ref. Love it. Yeah, it was weird, Victor. I think you're right. The Full Metal CD came out in '95. For that Anthrax song was on there for some reason. I don't know why, right? But then they would wind up using that for the Raw is War intro a couple years later. Why was Anthrax even a part of that Full Metal CD? That's who did the song, right? Anthrax? Or no, Megadeth. Maybe it's Megadeth. Maybe it's both. I don't know. I'm heavy metal impaired. Ah. He's pissing Taker off. Undertaker's spiky hair. Look at Austin with the hip drags and the dropped hold. What am I watching here? Damn, Austin. He had 2 arm drags and a drop toe hold. When's the last time you saw Austin do that shit? Oh, yeah. Fat Lace's P-Cola. You know how I was saying I live in San Diego and avocado's everywhere and I fucking hate avocado? I used to live in the South and sweet tea was everywhere and I hated sweet tea. Hated tea. Hate tea. Don't want anything to do with tea or coffee for that matter. And tea especially. I just found it, the taste of it. Who likes this stuff? And I don't care how much sugar you put in it. To me, it was never good. But like when I was, I worked in restaurants for years out there as a manager and also worked as a server. And I remember when I would be a server or a waiter, we would have to go in and make 4 or 5 urns of sweet tea and then like 2 urns of unsweet. Here in California, we have one like half urn of unsweet tea in the kitchen in case we need it, in case anybody wants tea. We never sell it. Nobody ever orders it. It just sits there. In North Carolina, a wall of fucking tea urns because when they greet you at a table out there, it's like, hi, would y'all, it's not like, hi, would y'all want some water? It's like, hi, can I start you with some sweet tea? And so like everybody's just like, they put the shit in baby bottles, man. It's like all they drink, that and Sundrop. And I always just tripped out by it because I'm like, I tried to drink it. I'm like, I just don't like it. I don't. But if I was born there, grew up on it, and they gave it to me as a kid, I probably would have grown to love it. But never got into it, never liked it. And it's funny being out here in California now. Nobody gives a shit about tea out here. Nobody asks for it. Nobody cares. And every night we dump a full urn of unsweet tea out. If anything, we sell 1 or 2 iced teas a day, and that's it. Where every single table would have tea on it. In North Carolina. And that's not an exaggeration. I'm not exaggerating. Go to any restaurant in North Carolina, every fucking table in that place will have at least 1 cup of tea on it or glass of tea or whatever it's called. But yeah, I think I hate avocado and tea equally. And I lived in the 2 places where they're the most popular. So yeah, in case you don't know, I don't like sweet tea. Sweet tea. Sweet tea. Oh, damn, Austin took that shot hard on the back of his neck. Took the old school. Flair, you suck at counting, man. Let's get Earl in here or the real Red Shoes, and you go take a seat. I wasn't too far from that area, Mike, where the Hardys were. They were like kind of in the Fayetteville area. I was a couple hours away at the beach in Wilmington. Much better place. Like the Hardy compound, I'm sure they got a fat, sweet pad. Their place is gorgeous, but the town they live in, nah, I wouldn't live there. I want to live in a town where something happens and there's shit to do, places to go. I don't think Austin was being buried here. I don't like what they were doing with Austin, only because the fan in me didn't like that he was taking a second fiddle to Hogan. But you got to understand too, Austin, Austin had was in a dark place too. He was struggling in his real life. And, I know he had and the divorce and everything with Deborah and all that stuff that was going on. He wasn't super with it at this point either. And he was a big star, and he heaped an enormous amount of pressure on himself. And Austin is working on a pay-per-view against The Undertaker. This is not a burial in any way. And plus, you got to remember, this guy walked out the night after WrestleMania after he won his match at WrestleMania. And I think he was just frustrated due to his spot on the card that he wasn't at the top. Not being at the top does not mean you are buried. And when WCW was bought out and all this talent started coming in and the business was changing, there was more main events to be spread around, I guess, But I certainly didn't consider anything they were doing with Austin here a burial. I just didn't I felt the same way he did, that he should have been maybe featured a little higher, and they should have tried to get a match with Hogan and Austin done. But I think there's a line that people cross sometimes when a wrestler isn't getting the push they feel they deserve. They make the leap to being buried, and that's not true. It's not really what's happening. You got to manage your emotions in situations like that. Yeah, it's kind of messed up that Austin's in a mid-card match when Hogan's main eventing, but you have to understand why they're doing that. They kind of called an audible there. The fans were going nuts for Hogan. You kind of have to do something about that. Oof. But, it is kind of sad. What's sad here is as we're watching this is the end of Stone Cold, guys. He would only have in his match after this match right here, how many matches? 5? He'd have a couple more here in May before he'd leave. He'd come back and beat Bischoff and then lose to The Rock. And then he was gone for 20 years until he beat Kevin Owens last week. This is one of Stone Cold Steve Austin's final, I'd say, 10 matches. I don't know if he was working live events or what, but I feel this is one of Austin's last matches right here, what we're watching. And that's really sad. But I think if Austin would have stuck around, eventually he would have, regained the top spot. Oof. Undertaker was buried in 2003. That's right, he was. Literally. Ooh, Austin with the back. I can't get over how much I love that shiny-ass floor. You don't understand why the fans cheered for Hogan so much during this time. I didn't like Hogan, but I understood why they did. It's because Hogan was back in the WWF, is what it was. And you have to understand, and I think you're my age, Mike, how surreal that was to see after all that time away. His last match was the King of the Ring, and he worked against WWE so long in WCW. To see him there was so weird. You put Hogan in a WCW ring in the year 2000, people don't give two shits. But you put him in a WWE ring back home after 9 years, it was a part of a lot of the fans at that time, our childhoods. At this time I was 25 years old and Hogan hadn't been there in 10 years. And when he was on top, I was 10. So it felt, nostalgic. Like I got wrapped up in it too. I didn't need Hogan to win the title or anything, but the red and yellow back under the WWF, that's key. They're about to be WWE in a minute here, but the WWF umbrella, and in the ring with a WWF microphone was just, for a fan, was surreal. So I get why the fans shit their pants over him. I understand. It's just, I was more of a fan by this point. When you're 25, you're a smarky piece of shit. That's what you are, and that's what I was too. So at this time, I was more resistant to Hogan and more pro Austin, more pro Triple H, more pro Jericho, pro Taker, pro guys that had been there, putting the work in, working against WCW for so long. And in my mind, were far better wrestlers than Hogan could ever dream to be on his best day. So I was more on those guys' camps. But that doesn't mean I don't get why the fans kind of welcomed Hogan back, because it was cool, I never thought we'd see Hogan back in WWE. I thought it would take one of the companies folding for that to happen, and it did happen. X-Pac out there with that mask. X-Pac, you got a safe word? Yeah, I always like Savage more than Hogan, too. Although during the Orndorff and Hogan feud, I was on Hogan's side. I thought Orndorff was a dirty fucker, man. Orndorff kind of brought out that Japan side of Hogan a little bit, too, you know, where he'd fucking fight you, man, if he had to. And he had no choice but to fight Orndorff. That was a brutal feud. Is that a bruise on Austin's thigh? Ouch, if it is. Does Taker know that Pac's wearing Kane's mask? I think he does. He's like, give me that. That's my brother's. I'll give it back to him. Yeah, you're hearing Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross in the background because they're on commentary. But maybe I should turn it down a bit. Wow, Sonny, man, you got into wrestling around the time Hogan was feuding with Mr. McMahon on SmackDown 2003. You were getting into wrestling when I was getting out of wrestling. That's crazy. I was starting to lose interest around that time. I did go to a show where Mr. America was at. I've been to one. I saw Mr. America wrestle once live, or appear live. I forgot what show it was even at. I just know he was there. It might have been the same one. I was also at a SmackDown where they did something with Snuka and Piper. That was right after WrestleMania, I think, because I remember Brock and Angle had some sort of a segment, or one of them did. I think it was maybe Brock putting over Angle. Angle was off doing the surgery or something, or recovering. And Brock was kind of talking nice about him. And then I think they did a Snuka and Piper thing. I want to say there was like a U.S. tournament on that show or something, a match as well. That was at some SmackDown, whatever the fucking date that was. And that was in 2003. And that might have been the same show Mr. America was on, but it might not have been. I don't know. There's no cell phones back then. I don't have a million pictures of this shit. I just have to go by memory, you know. Mike, I don't think anything's off the table anymore. You know, the Cody stuff should be evidence enough of that, because things change. The answer might be no now, but 2 years from now, who knows what could happen? Tony Khan might have an affair with AJ Lee. And Punk leaves, goes back to WWE. You don't know. It's unlikely that will happen, but you never know what the fuck happens. So I think that's one of the coolest things about the fact that we have two competing companies now in America, is that, you know, you get these scenarios and you get these situations where you're going to have defections, people switching sides, and there's nobody in the business that I think is above returning or going to the other company. If the money and the situation is right and both guys want each other, Punk can totally come back. He hasn't done enough to fully burn that bridge. CM Punk debuts at WrestleMania. You think that won't get a pop? So, yeah, nothing's off table in my mind for the future. The only thing that might be off the table is Vince McMahon and Tony Khan having a Hell in a Cell match. Maybe that's probably not going to happen, but anything else, don't rule it out. Plus, if they had a Hell in a Cell match, Tony Khan would kick his ass. We all know that. Just fuck him up. It's clear that he's a stronger person than Vince. He's got way bigger arms, you know. He'd probably just submit Vince, I would imagine, you know. Tony Khan's MMA background is going to overmatch Vince. It's not going to be much of a fight, really. Maybe if they put Shane in there, it was a handicap match against Tony Khan, the McMahons might stand a chance. But even with Shane in there, what's he going to do? Just throw fake punches, fall out of the ring, and get tapped out anyway? Yeah, they're going to be screwed if they get in the ring with TK. They don't want none of that. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to affect AEW and any of that shit. I haven't really read much about that, the merger and all that crap. Whenever companies merge, it never bodes well for the entities that it owns. But I got to read more about that to even know what the fuck I'm talking about. Big Taker clothesline. Flair. Dude. Couldn't you, like, just work out in the ring a little bit with Earl and he can show you how to properly count a WWE-style count? You're terrible, Ric Flair. You're terrible. You're a knucklehead. Yeah, I like the Stephanie rumors that they exist because it just adds this urban legend, this myth to wrestling, but Savage hooking up with a 16-year-old. I want him to remain my second favorite wrestler of all time, and if the Stephanie rumors are true, he can't be, because that's fucking sick. Plus, you had Elizabeth at home. What the fuck are you doing? So I personally don't believe them, but I do think it's funny that they exist and they haven't gone away. Oh, we got to remove turnbuckle pad. Taker just ate a back shot. There's a Myrtle Beach sign in the crowd. Shout out to Myrtle Beach. I used to live pretty close to there. Jesus, we are literally just what? Oh, no, it was a few months now. I feel like the What chants were real new at this time. I think they began late 01. So we're about like 4 months-ish into the What chants. I will never forgive Austin for that shit, or Christian, or a voicemail, or whoever the hell's responsible for that. They should be... Austin's Hall of Fame honors should be taken away. Speaking of that, so should Sonny's. Oh, they're going to what chant during punches and kicks too? Yeah, that won't be annoying. Yeah, Big Nate's putting Little Nate to shame. Yeah, that's who Big Nate should have worked with is Little Nate. Little Nate's way better. Ric Flair's the worst referee I've ever seen. That's all I'm going to say. He's doing nothing. He's standing there. He's lazy. He sucks at counting. He had his hands on his hips earlier. I'm like, I guarantee you Vince and management would never tell referees to stand there, put their hands on their hips. Oh, Flair goes down. Stunner. AEW has to tread carefully how they do it, but I think one day, maybe in the distant future, not near future, distant future, build it up like you did with Vince, and Tony takes a bump, or Tony gets attacked. Don't do it too quick. I think they attacked Bischoff too quick in WCW. You know, Vince waited 20 years before anybody put their hands on him, basically. You know, so if you can kind of really build it up and you can make the fans think that, like, oh my God, one day Tony is going to get beat up or stunned or something, and then you do it, and you do it in a way that will really launch a talent like they did with Austin, it could work. But I wouldn't do it too quick, and I would be very, very patient with that. Don't do it to do it. Save it for one day when you get the right piece of talent. And, oh, Austin does kick out because Ric Flair sucks at counting. But you save that for like the right situation, the right piece of talent with the right attitude, the right gimmick, persona, and you take out Tony. Oh, it might be great. I mean, fans would shit their pants because Tony has not done. He's just come out and acted crazy a few times. Like he hasn't come out and done anything, physical in the ring. And you don't want that either. You don't want Tony Khan out there as the authority figure. You don't want to turn into WWE. But I'm telling you, if you just do it right, it will be pretty great. But don't rush it. Do it in 2030. Like seriously, wait that long. Flair's counts are so... They just lack drama. Yeah, wrestling does not need another authority figure, which is why I said he should not be an authority figure. Precisely the reason I said that. I do, however, think they do need a Jack Tunney type. Somebody to make announcements. I mean, Tony Khan can still be that guy, but when he makes an announcement, he screams them into the microphone. I think maybe I even pitched William Regal before he came in doing something like that. But if they got a Tunney type that you didn't see all the time, he only appeared about as often as Tony Khan did to deliver Tony Khan's message or whatever, or act as the president, the kayfabe president of the company, and be used in a way that Tunney was. Because you do need that person if you have to make a decision on a championship. But what you don't need is, is that going to be it? Austin got brained with that chair. Yep. Nope, he kicked out. But, if Tunney was coming out and opening every single Monday Night Raw or WWF Superstars with a 10-minute promo every week, and then he was featured in, like, several segments throughout the show, of course that would suck. But you still should have a guy in place there to make a decision when something controversial happens or when you have an injury, forfeiture, anything like that. I don't think that's wrong. I don't want Adam and Sonya. They're on TV every fucking week. I just wish they were kind of in the background and brought out when needed, which is 4 times a year at most, And that's probably on the higher end. No, Ric Flair's wearing his boots. That's why they're red. Yikes. Is Flair cool with his chair being in there? You got to be... uh-oh. Oh, man. Austin took a shot. That's got to be it. Austin's got his foot on the rope. Oh, okay. Oh, and Taker pulls it off. Smart. I saw it. We all saw it. Oh, yeah. Now he's the number one contender. Yeah, the NWO didn't even do anything. They just stood there. Watch out, Austin. You got your back turned on Taker. Hey, Arn as the Tunney character would be great. You're right, he would. Oh, Austin's now they're going to continue to brawl. It would be even cooler if they could find someone to do the Tunney character that had the same type of connection that the Tunney family had with the Vince Sr. and all of that. And I just don't know who that would be, though, in AEW, you know? Somebody with, you know, some ties to their past. They're not a very old company, but I don't know who it would be.
Mr. Flair, did you not see Stone Cold Steve Austin's leg on the rope when you counted 1, 2, 3?
No.
You didn't see it? I gotta show you.
It's almost as if, like, I wish, like, Luke Hart or Brody Lee had a brother or something that was also in wrestling that could do it. Like, somebody like that just has some... If -1 grows up to suck at wrestling, he could be a authority figure, but that's way off. Oh, now Coachman's going to show Flair how stupid he is? Why are Austin's boots always untied? Do y'all notice that? His shit is always a mess down there. His laces are always undone. He's got unconventional boots.
Now, Mr. Flair,
They're shorter,
what do you have to say
and they're weird looking.
after seeing that footage?
I'd be tripping all over myself. Now he's like, ah, shit. He said, oh, shit, on pay-per-view. Holy crap. What is this? AEW? No, see, that's a hell of a reach. I do not believe for a second that Vince McMahon put Austin in this role because he wanted all the credit for the beating WCW. That makes no sense. No. I agree with that Austin being on the card was frustrating for fans. I'm totally on board with you there. The reasonings, I don't think you guys are on the right path, unfortunately. There's way more to it than that. Billy and Chuck were tag champs. That's right. I forgot. Rico. Billy Gunn. 383-time tag team champion with 252 separate tag team partners. Amazing. Amazing career. Ugh. I hated these lame-ass Tough Enough songs. This sounds edited. Al Snow and Maven. Fucking Maven. God damn, they don't win the tag titles, do they? No, I'm pretty sure they don't. I think if they were tag champs, I'd have remembered that. So I think I got Billy and Chuck in this one. Fucking Palumbo, man. Let's see. What kind of history we got here? Al Snow and Billy Gunn. Oh, Avatar's back. Check out Al Snow. Was that his name, Avatar, where he put the mask on? He came out without the mask and then put the mask on to wrestle. Andrade did that sometimes too, right? Or maybe he did the opposite. Steven Scott, appreciate the $5. If Cody Rhodes wins both WWE titles, would you like for them to unify them and bring back the Winged Eagle title? Of course, but are they going to do that? Please. But as I said today, I was responding to a tweet from Solomonster today where he was pitching or mentioning the idea, I should say, and maybe not pitching, of Cody being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns and how that would be good. He'd be a good guy, a pick for that just because of, you know, the tie-in with his dad and everything. But Cody has said that he owns that belt that Dusty, that Superstar wore, that Dusty challenged for. And he's got that picture with it. Cody owns the physical belt itself. So if Cody does beat Roman or just becomes WWE champion in general, regardless of who he beats, I hope that they bring that title to TV and like he holds it or shows it. It doesn't have to replace. Obviously, it's not going to replace the title, or maybe it will as for his run. Like if WWE plans on having Cody have a short run anyway, 2 months, maybe he wears that belt the whole time. I think you could do that. Why not? You can get away for not smearing that logo in her face for 2 months, WWE. It's not going to be a big deal. You'll go right back to the big, ugly belt when it's over. But I think that would be nice. And if at the very least, if you're not going to do that, fine. But at least bring that belt out. Cody brings it, holds it, and he'll cry, and it'll be nice. I think it'll be nice. So, and that belt's small. I know exactly what it looks like, and it's tiny. It'll look small in today's on today's TV, but I think it would be really cool. I don't know how Cody got his hands on that belt either. I don't know how a lot of those belts got outside of control of the companies they were in. Like, I know maybe it's Conrad or somebody owns like one of the big golds. How did he get the big gold? How did he get one of the original big golds? How was that not acquired by WWE in the buyout? How did Booker T not bring that with him? Where did it go after Booker T? Did he just leave it at the building that night in Panama Beach and somebody just swiped it? Like, I don't know how that worked. Or maybe they just found some way else to sell it. I don't know. But some of those belts, like that one that Cody has, is interesting why he even has that and how that didn't end up in WWE's warehouse or all the other shit they own. I mean, they still have the wrestling ring. The ring from WrestleMania 1 in 1985. The ring itself, the ropes and everything is sitting right there in the warehouse, but they don't have their own championships. I don't know why that is. Yeah, and Dan Lambert is the one that gave it back to Cody. And I don't know how Dan Lambert got it either. I don't get it. So if you guys want to fill me in on the backstory on that, feel free. I wouldn't hate Rex Steiner or stupid Braun Breaker doing it in the sense that if you're going to end a run like that, at least make someone in the process, not someone that's already made. And so that's probably the best option. But I do think that that also does include Cody. Hey, somebody was mentioning the active wrestlers earlier. You, whoever you were, I don't think you mentioned Billy Gunn. He still gets in there sometimes, doesn't he? I think it's Brock, Jeff, Billy, and there's one other person. Jericho. Well, Jericho didn't wrestle either. But there might be one other person. Yeah, Victor. When Cody brought back the IC title, that was great. Appreciate $2 more. But that was only like medium cool for me because I'm a black strap guy. I'm in the minority. There's things that I don't have in common with the generation after me in terms of my loves and likes in wrestling. One of them is the black strap on the IC belt. I prefer that. I hate the white strap, but everybody loves the white strap. I don't. Also, everybody seems to love that undisputed title that Triple H is going to come out with, and I fucking hate it. That was one of the ugliest belts they've ever done. But the generation after me loves it. Because you always love what you remember as a kid. And that's precisely why. So I like those belts because that's what I remember as a kid. You guys like those because that's what you remember when you were a kid. That's how it works. Oh, man. We were inches away from Maven holding a championship in the WWE. Actually, I think he might have been hardcore champion. Rico. Please tell me that Rico has nieces and nephews. Back in 82, I could throw a pigskin a quarter mile. Billy and Chuck retain. Look at that. Is that a George Bush mask? That's hilarious. Right in Rico's face. That's funny. There's people that like the spinner belt. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, because they were probably 10 when the spinner belt was out, so they like it. I can understand that. So I don't hold it against them. It's not their fault. If I was 10, I'd probably like that stupid thing too. But when that thing came around, I was 26, and I was like, no. Oh. Well, I was older than that. I'm 27. 28. Yeah, I was 28 when the spinner belt debuted. Jesus. Chris, what's up, dude? Appreciate the $5. I'm a black strap guy for all title belts, and I liked the tag belts from the 90s. Yeah, I agree. The Big Eagle over the Winged Eagle. Yeah, I liked all the belts back then. I thought all the designs were good. Black strap, it was all simple. And it was around 80, 85 was when all the belts got nice. Because, Hogan's belt would continue to change, but in 85 they had an ugly green Intercontinental title, which I didn't like. And then Tito had the new one. And they destroyed the other one on TV or something. It was cool. Hulk Hogan. And he's back in the red and yellow. Hey, there's me. I see me. Oh, man, I hear you, man. That warehouse is intriguing as hell. I want to see what's in there. I want to go on my own tour. Oh, Andrew, you're all over the place. It should have been Steve Austin in the main event seen by SummerSlam 97. He should have never been in the situation where he could have gotten his neck broken in a mid-card match that meant nothing. Intercontinental title match against Owen Hart on a pay-per-view means nothing. Were you alive at this time? You probably were, because you've got good, you know what happened here. But let me tell you, I lived through this shit, and I was very interested in the Kiss My Ass match. And I was enjoying the rise of Stone Cold. I don't need the immediate gratification that every other fan needs. I was enjoying the ride. I knew where he was going, and it was exciting to watch. It's almost like you're blaming his accident on some mismanaging booking with him. No, he was being booked phenomenally at that point. And he lost at WrestleMania, but he lost, kind of the same way Wheeler Yuta lost on Friday. Yeah, listen to this. They're editing the hell out of fucking Jimmy. Oh, that's so terrible. Sounds so terrible. So that was just a freak accident. There's nobody to blame here, other than, kind of Owen. But they were doing a lot of things right with Austin in 97. And it wasn't a throwaway match. It wasn't a match that meant nothing. It was a match that meant a lot. And I, for one, is a huge wrestling fan by that point, with a lot of years behind me of watching, was super interested in a match. Those are two of the best wrestlers in the world. Pre-pile driver, Austin could go, man. So could Stunning Steve. He was great in the ring, and Owen was one of the best to ever do it. So that's an asinine take. Sorry to tell you, Andrew. You got way too much anger in you, man. That's not how anything is. This is a terrible edit job by WWE. It sounds so terrible. Remember when, was it Shivani called it Voodoo Chili? That was awesome. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't switch right back over. Victor, you're right. Why didn't they just go right back to Real American at this point? I would have. But Real American was like a joke of a song. Remember the Briscoe and Patterson were coming out to it? And wrestling in their underwear and shit? So maybe they were like, oh, we've made a parody of it, and now we can't bring it back. But I think that's how part of what helped make it. Because it was cool to see the red and yellow and Hogan back, but he was coming out to this. And he still had Hollywood on his shit. And Triple H. I remember consciously thinking about how bad this match might be. Like, Rock and Hogan had the benefit to the crowd at WrestleMania to really, they could have been playing Scrabble in there and the fans were pissing themselves. But this was going to be a different story. That ugly ass belt. I'm just kidding, y'all. I'll stop making fun. Now, in Triple H, it looks great. I will say that. This right here is the best that belt has ever looked in my mind. I hated it on JBL and Cena. It was okay on Eddie. But here, that's the best it's ever looked. Triple H knew how to wear belts. Help me out, statistic people. Who have held the big blue, the one that they had in 98, this one, the big gold, and the spinner? He's held them all. Oh, and he's held the most kind of recent one, right? The one, well, they might have changed a bit, but he held it in 2016. I always liked that shot of Triple H doing the water spit and Hogan behind him. That was an excellent visual. But, like, he's held some amazing championships. He just missed the Winged Eagle by about a year and a half. But in terms of variety of titles, Triple H has got to be a guy that's held more than anybody. Taker's held this one. Taker's held the big gold. I don't recall Taker holding the spinner belt, though. Thank God. You'll put a little coffin on it and spin it around. I mean, Hogan, for his age here, visually looks in great shape. And he's just as big as Triple H. Or Triple H is just as big as him. Oh, Big Show. Triple H did what? Oh, yeah, The Rock kind of held the spinner and the other one. And he held the big gold, and he held that one. You're right. The Rock works. The Rock counts. That was my least favorite WWE belt. That whole entire spinner thing. Even after Cena lost it and then Punk held it for that year, man, that thing, it was just like this, I don't know how to describe it. The shape, the feel of it, just, did not look like a wrestling belt to me. I had such a rotten attitude about it. I despised that belt. Always have, always did. Every time I saw it, I wanted to fucking barf. Give me this undisputed title any day over that. Oh, that's kind of cool. Rock was the last person to hold the spinner belt. Austin was the last person to hold the Winged Eagle for a day. Technically, Shawn was. Hey, buddy. Who's meow? You want to come over here and say hi to the audience during Hulk Hogan and Triple H? All right, you guys can say hi to Bub, my old man here, my old sick buddy. Yeah. Say hi to you guys? No, he wants out. Chill out. Say something. That's him. He's been hanging out by me all day. Why don't you stay up here? Just don't knock over my shit, please. Thank you. I know. You're going to have to wait, dude. Hogan and Triple H are on. God, I didn't catch the weight on these guys. I feel like visually, Hogan's got 20 pounds on him. And an inch, maybe an inch and a half. Because Hogan's tall. Even here, he's tall. What was Hogan? He wasn't like 6'6", was he? What was Hogan's official height? Maybe 6'4". I'm like 6'1". Marcus, the smaller design belt they had at this time I didn't like either. I just thought it was asinine to change the belts to begin with. It's like there's nothing wrong with them. They were gorgeous. Oh, man. And imagine if they would have kept the Winged Eagle all this time and Hogan would have won the Winged Eagle back. He was the guy that debuted it. 6'7"? Are you kidding me? He doesn't seem that tall to me. I guess he is. Jesus. 6'7". That's tall as shit. You're in high school. You're a center. I knew Hogan wasn't short. I always knew he was tall. I thought 6'7" was just a little much. Wow. Maybe that's just what he's listed at. Maybe that's not what he really is. I've never met Hogan face-to-face before, so I've never stood in front of him. 6'8". Damn. Hey, Michael Jordan's 6'6", I think. I've met him a bunch of times in person. Tall as shit, looking way up to him. Yeah, and the back surgery's probably shrunk him a bit, but here he still looks very big. I mean, he's Triple H and him are matched muscle for muscle and tan for tan. It's just Hogan is a little taller, and I think Hogan's got the weight on him. Look at the shape he's in. It's ridiculous. Like, look at Hogan. I mean, Hogan, in my mind, was so ridiculously past his prime at this point, but he still looked awesome. Austin I've met. He's not a small person, but he's not huge, you know. He was more of a medium-sized guy, normal-sized guy in wrestling at that time. A couple pounds heavier than Brett, maybe. That type of size. Austin, I will say, did maintain an incredibly consistent physique. Like, Triple H is all over the place with his physique. My God, he's doing pose downs with Scott Steiner in January of 03. By the time you get to September 03, he looks fat. You know, it's crazy, like, what happens. The crazy, you know, fluctuations. Edge, same thing. You know, comes back after his injury. Rah, you know, and the next thing you know, it's like he forgot where the gym was. You know, but Austin, it's like the same, never changed. The only time he ever looked off was when they brought him back too early during his injury, when he was like in the Rock's corner at Backlash. We did a watch along of that last year, and he came out all chubby. But like ring shape, Austin has been incredibly the same his whole career. One of these days I'll pull off the winged eagle off the wall and we'll admire it together. Look at the beauty. Notice the craftsmanship. Ooh, Hogan ducked his head. Fucking 32-year veteran ducking your head. Nah, not 32, 25. I don't care how many years you've been in wrestling. These fuckers always drop their head and get kicked. Yeah, I appreciated Austin for his consistency. He just was the same. It's just awesome. It's hard enough to diet and exercise regularly, but to do so while you're on the road and trying to find food that's not Taco Bell and stuff, you know, that I couldn't even imagine trying to stay in shape and travel every day. Big suplex on the outside. That looked good. Good job, Hogan. Look at you throwing around some suplexes, taking bumps. Your old ass. That fucking hair on Hogan is a trip. Give it up, bro. Oh, yeah, Austin is the GOAT. I agree. Austin, I always thought he was even more over than Hogan. And the reason is because I felt both of their pops in person, and I was in the crowd for a lot of big Stone Cold Steve Austin moments, matches, segments, interviews. And I got to feel it and hear it, and nothing tops it, man. Fucking incredible. I almost got trampled at a house show in North Carolina because the security was bad. And I was in the front row, and Austin was in the main event. And these drooling rednecks were so hell-bent on getting as close to the ring as possible. They were jumping over each other. My seat was basically just gone, just invaded by a bunch of people. I found myself like back 6 people from the rail when my seat was on the front row. People just piled in front of me, and Austin was trying to get a touch of him, and Stone Cold. It was just like, I was like at a fucking zoo, and I just couldn't believe it. But it was like how over Austin was. Like, it was like little girls at a fucking New Kids on the Block concert. Or wait, maybe for fans your age, Backstreet Boys. And it was nuts. Like, I just couldn't believe that. And then Austin was like that over in all the cities, you know? But in the South, it was even more intense for some reason. But it was scary. I was pissed. It's like, get these little pieces of shit off me. You know, I was so mad because they were just, they just didn't care. No boundaries, no personal space. They just were all about, because the show was over, or it was the main event, so, like, you can't really get kicked out, you know? So that was the time to just say, oh, whatever, bum rush the ring. And it was so bad that I was, like, on a loop that weekend. So I went to the next house show, like the next night or the night after, and it was essentially the same card, but they moved the Austin match to the middle. That might have been because... No, I'm not going to tell that part of it. I did talk to Vince's secretary about that show, though, Beth, and told her the whole story. And then the next show, they moved I'm not saying I did it, but it was like really freaky. Ugh. Down goes Hogan, the knee. But it was smart. They moved Austin, to the middle of the card. That way the fans go out of their mind. They're going to maybe behave themselves. And I think they ended that night with New Age Outlaws match. Closed the show. And Road Dogg cut a promo to send us all home. It was actually great. And the fans were great. They didn't invade the ring. They didn't fucking trample, riot, or anything like that. They kept their cool, and Road Dogg sent us off happy. It was awesome. And that was a better way to structure the card. But I picked the wrong night to be in the front row. I sat next to John Boy and Billy that night. Radio. I don't even know if they still are around in the Carolinas, but they were a big deal back then. Sat right next to them. And then John Boy would be a regular in my restaurant in North Carolina years later. He'd come in all the time. But just him, not Billy. Look at Earl and Hogan. Hogan's like, didn't you screw me in 88? Where's your brother? And Earl's like, no, I was the twin. I was the one that you threw over the ropes into Ted DiBiase. Crowd's booing Triple H, man, but he's doing the right thing. He's a cerebral assassin, and he can play as dirty as any of them. That's another reason why I didn't like that Hogan won this match. I'm like, dude, does he know who he's playing with? This is the game. The fucking years he had in 2000 and 2001, the matches he had, the matches he won, the feud with Foley and all that stuff. I mean, hell, even the year before he beat Steve Austin clean at that No Way Out pay-per-view in that McDonald's playpen match or whatever. It was nuts. So I thought he could have eaten Hogan for lunch here. I mean, Triple H to me was a much more credible and stronger character at this point than the aging Hogan who could never really work even when he was on top. So I thought Triple H should have murdered Hogan in this match. So made me disappointed at the end. I saw that Hogan just did the RKO. Sorry I didn't call that. Hogan busting an RKO out. We saw Austin doing the arm drags and the drop toe hold fucking Ricky Steamboat style earlier. Austin and Steamboat had some matches too. They were good. They are. They're chanting hard for Hogan. Ooh, big kick out there. That's smart, though, that they did the leg angle in this because it will conceal Hogan's limited in-ring ability if you just work the leg and make him not able to work anyway. Now, there's Brett would always say about Diesel, once I get you down on the mat, you're my size. We're the same size now. Yeah, Mike Pitt, like I was saying earlier, I actually kind of disagree. I think this was all Vince. I don't think this was Hogan's politics. Hogan's politics wouldn't really rear its head again until like 2005, after he'd already left and come back, and then had creative control kind of worked in and caused all that drama. But here, he lost every match except for this one. I mean, for the most part, right? He lost to The Rock. They did put the belt on him here, but he coughed it up a month later. It didn't overstay its welcome. He didn't hold the title to fucking SummerSlam or anything. And then he would, lose, drop the belt to Taker. I think Kurt Angle would beat him. Brock Lesnar would beat him and wipe his blood on his chest. And Triple H would probably, I believe, win the return match that they would have on SmackDown. So Hogan was actually doing business, I think, at this time. I think it was Vince recognizing that insane WrestleMania reaction and wanting to capitalize on it. While you're not going to get any more popular than that. If Hogan's back now, capitalize on this now before it wears off. So even though I didn't like it, I kind of got it. I get it. If the fans would have had their thumbs up their butts during the Rock and Hogan match at WrestleMania, then this match wouldn't even be necessary. But WWE changed gears a bit. So I'm actually, as crazy as it sounds, not blaming Hogan for this one. I think this was all Vince. And I think Triple H was fine with it. He's like, all right, Vince, all right, Dad, whatever you want, Triple H didn't have to be worried about too much here for his spot. It's his father-in-law owns the company. He's fine. Or his soon-to-be father-in-law, I should say. Jesus, I'm just glad Baron Von Raschke is still doing appearances. Last time I saw him on whatever they interviewed him for, I was surprised how good he looked and well he spoke for somebody his age. Might have been Dark Side of the Ring is where I saw him, or where we saw him. I don't remember. Hogan, throw another RKO, bro. I want to see another one. Do a stunner. Yeah, that's all I think it was, You can't ignore a crowd response like that he got at WrestleMania and the other night on SmackDown, when it was like 8 minutes of nonstop cheering. Yeah, it's okay to not like something that you also understand why they did it, and that's the way I feel about Hogan. I'm like, I get it. Cinch up on that, Triple H. It looks like shit, man. The way Hunter's fist is on Hogan, I thought he was blading him. Yeah, Victor, you're probably right, because I did not see this coming at all. I mean, I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. Main event winner at WrestleMania often doesn't cough up the strap the next month. Unless you retain at Mania. But if you're winning it, it's a pretty rare thing. Triple H has dropped some belts in Backlash, hasn't he? Because he dropped it to The Rock 2 years prior. Ooh, big side suplex by Hogan. Oh, Hogan attempting a moonsault. I'd slap down good money just to watch that. It'd be worth every penny. Oh, yeah, not going to wrestle, but just doing appearances, signing autographs, pictures, that sort of thing. And that's all the people need to see, because I don't need to wrestle. My grandma loved Baron von Raschke. Oh. Wait a minute. Here comes Jericho. Yeah, they telegraphed this with Jericho's promo earlier. You knew he'd get involved. Oh, yeah, so this is why they did the Hell in the Cell match. Oh. It's Hogan. Oh, he's trying to help Triple H win. I get it. Damn, Jericho's got some strength. You see how he lifted Earl right up like that? Like a baby? Wake up. Maybe it's Taker who comes out. Somebody cracks Hunter with a chair, I think. Is Hogan busted open? I can't tell. No, he's not. Oh, yeah, he is. Hogan's hulking up. Hogan's skin is fucking so leathery. I feel like if you cut it, he wouldn't even bleed, but he's bleeding on his head. Big boot. Does Triple H kick out of the leg drop here? Oh, he misses the leg drop. The Warrior spot. About time somebody moved out of the way of that leg drop. Pedigree. Does he hit Hogan with a pedigree? Look at Hogan taking the pedigree. Looked okay. Not great. Oh, there's Taker. Are you allowed to do that? Now, why wouldn't that be a DQ? Oh. Now Triple H is bleeding for sure. Look at Taker and Hogan back in the ring. So crazy. Oh, wow. Taker wants... Oh, he's going to Hulk up on Undertaker. Survivor Series 91, baby. You want to return to that? Oh, look at Hogan and Taker going at it. This is weird. They have so much history. Oh, my God. Big boot on Triple H? No way. Look at the crowd. They're going nuts. Oh, this horrible editing is terrible. I really wish we had this in its original, properly unedited form. Hulk Hogan. Look at Taker's happy. He's like, well, I got an easy match now. I just got to beat this fucker. See, I mean, and that's another thing. I mean, with Hogan, yeah, he won the belt here, but even in the storyline, the reason he won the belt is because Undertaker views him as a easier opponent. So he was basically buried in a lot of ways. Everybody beat him, and even when he did win the title, it was only out of manipulation. So you could look at it that way, that Hogan was actually not treated very well if you wanted to view it from that viewpoint. But me having sympathy for Hogan is not something you're ever going to hear about on this channel. LOL, Hogan wins. And Hogan's already posing. Oh, wow. Look at Triple H's bloody face. It's a pretty cool stare down. I mean, we don't talk much about Triple H and Hogan in this little deal they had. I mean, WWE put Hogan in there with all the top names right off the bat. The only one they kind of omitted to do was Austin a little bit. So, like, he's cool with Hogan winning. I'd be like, this is horseshit, man. I want a rematch, like, tomorrow. But he's mad at The Undertaker now. So now that I think about it, like, would Triple H and Undertaker even get a chance to pay this off? Because Taker just cost him the belt, but Taker's going to work with Hogan next. Apparently, Triple H does get some revenge on him tomorrow on Raw, which I don't remember. But do they get a chance to work with each other? Because Taker would work Hogan, and then Jericho would or Triple H would work Jericho at that Hell in the Cell, right? When did Triple H and Taker get a chance to fight? Was it on TV? Or maybe it was, maybe they couldn't because they were on different brands? Was that it? I don't know how it works. Help me. Either way, Hogan is our champion. Now that I think about it, why is it that our last, let me look, 1, 2, 3, 4? I can't remember how many of these we've had. Okay, so I think our last 3 WrestleMania, or our last 3 watch-alongs have heavily featured Hulk Hogan, and he's been on my thumbnail of all of them. So, yeah, we got to take a break from Hogan for the next one, and that's why I think Backlash 2004 is an excellent choice. So, they had a match on the UK pay-per-view. Okay. Undertaker and Triple H main event, King of the Ring for the Undisputed title. Oh, okay. So they did. I was thinking Rock was involved in that, but that must have been the next month when he won the title. Okay, so they got a chance to get back together. Okay, because I thought that was weird. I'm like, they both seem like they have other dudes in front of them right now, so they picked it back up in June. Okay. And then I think they, added Rock to the match maybe at the July one, and that's when he won the belt to drop it to Brock, I think, is how it goes. But yeah. So, yeah, next week is Easter, so we won't be here for a watch-along, unfortunately. But the week after that, we'll be up here. We'll do Backlash 2004, and then I think we'll be able to do a watch-along the week after that as well, because we're still a little ways off until Backlash 2022. So we'll find another one to watch, or maybe some other April pay-per-view. Maybe an Unforgiven. Unforgiven 98 was an April one. I was there. Maybe we'll look at that one. We'll talk about it as we get closer. So, excuse me. No Raw review tomorrow. I will not be home. So I guess the next time you will see me will be on Wednesday night. We're back finally after a 3-week break to watch Dynamite live. And we're going to watch Samoa Joe and Minoru Suzuki for the ROH TV title on Wednesday together. That's going to be awesome. I did throw some mic drops up on the channel today from yesterday's podcast, but other than that, you'll see me on Wednesday. So you guys take care. I'll be tweeting during Raw tomorrow, or about Raw tomorrow, or something. So feel free to let me know what's going on there, and I will talk to y'all in a couple days. Y'all be good. Peace.